going back. Not gonna buy into all that. Hey, hey, ain't gonna hide, gonna let all the fears slide. Got Mother Nature, it's on my side. Got all of the loving growing inside.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the new now. It's been a little while, but I'm back with my good friend Cambell from Auto Didactic. We've been trying to get together over the last little while and been very busy, but here we are now in both of our mornings, me being in Japan and Cambell being in Perth. We're about 9 and 8 a.m. respectively. And today we have decided to talk about discernment. Getting information not being enough, I have found. It's seeing the source, looking at whys, looking at how, looking where it's coming from, looking at the people, the place, the thing, and especially the underlying current behind what's being offered. Cambell, hello.
Yeah. Discernment. I mean, we're in the age of information, they tell us. So information is something that we're not lacking. There's lots of it, but the question is, what do you want to take in? You know, where's it coming from, and why are people putting out information that's directed at us? Clearly, you know, it's put out to get us to engage with it. So it's like you said, Lorenzo, we got to really, use our minds to understand why this information is being put out and where it's coming from and what the intention behind it is. Because this is a whole thing about life. It's all got to do with outcomes, really. You know, a lot of people jump into things and they just sort of go through the motions without thinking. And then we can easily end up being led down a road by someone. But when we stop and think of the consequences, where is this decision going to lead me? If I step into this, where will I end up? I think that's a good place to start with discernment. It's because it gives you that helicopter view. It's like, all right, what's the actual picture here? You know, you're not just taking it face value. Okay, lead me down the path. Thank you. You know, little flute blower or whatever. But it's more like, well, this is the information, helicopter view. Where is this going to lead me? And do I want to go there? And then if you want to, obviously walk that path. If you don't, get some more information and look around. But this is something we really need to be very aware of at the moment, because clearly at every point they are trying to control our perception of what's going on and also control our reaction, you know, what we do because of the perception we're given. So definitely.
For sure. I mean, discernment, I would guess, and I'll put a definition below. I haven't even looked it up before we came on here, but I would think one of the root words is to distill. To discern is to bring down to its root level, right? Is to bring down to its to get rid of all the dross and the impurities, you know, the garbage, and to get down to what's going on. And there's so many ways that you can distill things, right? Some things are heat distilled, some things are ice distilled, you know, some things are air distilled, you know, some things are water distilled, I guess. In case of us, we have to use our own consciousness, I would think, and our own awareness to distill the information. And also, as Cambell said, if you get a helicopter view, you know, you see what's going on, you look at the bigger picture of your life, the life around you, the people around you. Maybe you have to look back until, you know, you were a little boy or a little girl, and then, you know, see the lives around you and what's gone on, and to do some studies to get a bigger picture of why the information is being offered, you know, what the end result could be. And, you can make, in my opinion, a more intelligent choice of what to pick up and put in your body and what to laugh at, you know, and flush down the toilet.
Yeah, I mean, we used to hear all the time, you know, if your friends would jump off a cliff, would you go and do that as well? And this is kind of where we are, is people aren't being, you know, discerning. They're not getting to the crux of the information, to the, you know, the heart of the information. They're just looking at it as a whole. And this is how information is given to us. With information, there's normally some truth, and then it's surrounded by all this other bleh, you know, to get us involved, to get us emotionally linked, whatever that is. So we've got to understand that this is a game and it's a movie, and there are people who want to control us. If you don't believe that, look around and then ask yourself, who starts wars? Is it you? Of course it's not. Someone's doing this, right? So people do want to control us. So we need to just, you know, to use our own discernment to distill down, to see what they're trying to, what the essence of the message is, to really, like you said, distill it, to bubble off, to steam off all the crap, and see what are they trying to tell me? What are they, and through that, what are they trying to make me do? Because that's the crux from all information that we get from, the system. It's all to make us do something, to make us act in a certain way or to react in a certain way. Everything, or else they don't put it out. Every single bit of information, that's what it's for. So this is where we need to stand and just understand that. Doesn't have to be good or bad, just understand it. And then you're in a place of power. You can go, okay, that's what they're trying to do. Not interested, I'm going this way. And it's taking the power back and standing in your power and understanding that you are the power and you do get to make the decisions. You are smart enough. You have the faculties to make a good decision. But to do that, you need information. We need different points of view. We can't just get one point of view, go, oh, the government said this, so that's obviously the truth and I'm going to follow them, because that is someone leading you. It's like if you don't have at least 3 points of views, you're being told something.
At least, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
3 points of view, because then you can.
I used to say 2, and I've gone to 3, and it's still at least. That's the minimum. The more, the better.
If a doctor told you, you had to get a major operation, I would think anybody with half a brain, so to speak, unless I guess the operation was to replace half a brain, would be to get another opinion before you would let anybody do anything crazy. I mean, there's so many suggestions in that way. I had a wisdom teeth at one point when a dentist told me I had to get it taken out, right? I still have mine, by the way. And, he said, no, you need to. And I remember going to another doctor. He says, no, it's way too close to a vein in your body. If they haven't bothered you now, you don't need to. I would just wait, 6 months. And if nothing bothers you, just, forget about it, right? So obviously not wanting a major operation where they put me to sleep and yank parts of my mouth out and cut out my gums. I figured for me it was a no-brainer at the time to go, maybe I'll wait. And maybe that's why I get to be wiser than others. I don't. I still have my wisdom teeth. All 4 of them. They're still there. And maybe, in some ways, Cambell and I would like to say lucky, but I don't think so. Is that we've done the work in our intuitiveness, I'll say, and our curiosity took us towards an understanding and an exploration of different parts of the world, different parts of why we're alive, different historical perspectives on energy and people, and even where we come from and why we came from somewhere. And, I would highly recommend that. And I'll leave some links below that our viewers, take a look before, looking at a TV set or looking at a paper and expecting or accepting anything as rote. See where the governments came from, see where the people came from, see where the systems came from, and where your school came from, see where your food comes from, see where your money comes from, see why they made TVs, see why they make movies, see who these movie stars even are. Seen so many strange things of them changing faces, and changing ideas and changing roles. And it's not that hard to act for a little while, to put it on a screen, to show it to you. And then for you to believe, if you're gullible, I would think that what you see is real without you taking some time to discern, the source.
And that's exactly it. Like we watch TV, all right? Well, some people do, and they'll see a show and they will, in their mind, be thinking, this is not real. This is actors walking around a set. It's a show. Then they'll see the news, but they think that it's something different, that somehow it's suddenly changed into, oh no, now this is a community announcement, but this is all, because we're charitable. It's not for money. We're here to do you a service. But these people, they seem to miss the fact that there's advertisements in the news. Now, if there's ads in the news, that is a for-profit program. If that is a for-profit program, they will say whatever they need to say to get viewers, because it's all about money. It's exactly the same as whatever these shows are called. I don't even know a TV show, CSI, Law, whatever. It's all the same thing. It's just a show, guys. It's just a show. And you got to understand, the people sitting behind that desk telling you what you need to believe are paid millions and millions of dollars to do that. Millions. Why do they get paid millions? Because that's what you need to pay someone to sell their soul, to go on every night and lie to all the people around them, because that's what they do. And they know they're doing it. This is an act, guys. These are actors. It's a movie set, and it's all done to get you to believe their perception of the world. That's it. Like, it still just blows my mind that people think the news is some kind of charitable event, some kind of, we're going to spend all day advertising to you and your children fast food, junk food, sugar, crap, hate, violence. But when it comes to the news, no, sorry, it's all about you. We're good people. It's all for you. I mean, wake up, guys. It's like Lorenzo said, wake up and look at who owns these companies. Who owns the TV companies? What's their background? What else do they do? What are they doing with their life? Like, what way are they heading? Are they empowering people, or are they doing the opposite? Because you got to understand that if it's their company, it's doing exactly what they want it to do. And we've got to start making these connections. Companies aren't just companies. Companies are vehicles to get across messages and to change society. That's what they are. Control systems, power systems. And we've got to use our discernment to still off all the crap and just look at the line. Okay, who owns this? Why do they own it? What are they doing? How do they get their money? Who are they employing? What's the outcome? And where do I fit into it? Because if you don't see where you fit into it, you're a victim. They're playing with you, just like a cat who's got a mouse. And this is powerful, guys. The power is in understanding your power and in questioning. It's not powerful to believe something just because it's on a box with lights. That box that I was taught was called the idiot box, but now they want you to believe it's the smart TV. Again, they're just playing with words to change your perception. And this is why we need to look at where things started and why they started and what is their purpose. What is their purpose? That's really what we need to get down to.
Sometimes when I'm getting lost in something that's being presented on my computer, I'll look behind the computer and I'll see there's nothing there. And I'll go, it's just this thin screen of lights and noise and sounds coming through. And to me, it means something because I've been taught that it means something. If you put a rabbit in front of us here, they'd probably ignore the sounds because, it doesn't mean anything to them. And I've heard TV was started originally to talk to spirits, to talk to the other world. I mean, how do things get transmitted? Like, what's moving through the air and what's going through? What are you missing? And beyond that, and seeing who the people are and following the money and understanding what they're doing. How else would you discern? I could say, look in their eyes. I've always found when I'm talking to someone, I'll look in their eyes when they're sharing information with me. And I feel, at least from my perspective, you can tell whether someone's being honest or duplicitous or unloving, or there's nothing there, or there's evil there. It's maybe it's a bit of a skill that needs to be learned, but so is walking, and so is riding a bike, and so is swimming, and so is cooking. Like, everything is a skill. And if you're saying you don't know how to discern yet, that that's okay. It's a good place to start. I'm wrong, right? Cambell and I talked about that a few times. You have to admit like, I have trouble with it every day. Like, I just want to tell everyone it's not so easy. Again, I've had letters say, oh, it seems easy for you guys. No. Even, yesterday I've been told I was wrong, and this morning, and, even my wife told me I was wrong this morning. My good friend told me I was wrong yesterday, and it's still hard every day. I'm fighting it. But, when I sit down and I say, how could they be right? And how could I be wrong? You're not losing what you think you're losing. You're just maybe gaining that third perspective, as Cambell said. You're gaining another idea, like why is that information coming to me? Right? Is it for me to call someone an idiot? I don't think so. That seems very 5-year-old-ish. Is your friend stupid for giving you a perspective, or your, whatever, your mother, your father? No, they're just sharing something. And, why is it in my life? And why did I hear that? And you've got nothing to lose except maybe your own ignorance, I would think, by studying other perspectives and, seeing how that feels for you.
Definitely. There are no mistakes. They're all mistakes. It's all practice, guys. A mistake is just a mistake, as in the movies. Take one, take two. It's just, all it is us learning how to do things better. But we're taught, oh no, that's bad. Or if you do a mistake, people will laugh at you, and it means you're a failure. No, it doesn't. This is what they want us to believe, but I can guarantee you right now, all the people pulling the strings at the top, they don't make a mistake and start crying. they don't. They go, oh, okay, there's a better way to do that, and they keep going. So what the way they live and the way that they see life is different to what they want us to see, because they want to be in the power place. And this is what we've got to understand, is this is all manipulation. And the other thing is, everyone has their own perspective. And it's like Lorenzo said, is if we can watch, someone can watch a show and get a different perspective from someone else. And this is what we've also got to understand, is they know this. They know there's different types of people. They know there's different personality types, different things stand out to different people. So if something is sticking out to you, it's probably done that way. We're talking about media, films, all this kind of stuff. It's probably done that way for a reason. It's probably targeting you, just like on the internet. We know with all these ads and stuff, right? You click on something or you say something and suddenly all these ads start, they're suddenly in your vision because they're targeting you, because they've put you into a certain little category. You're this person, so you get this information. So that's another thing to understand, is that we're not getting the same information as everyone else. Okay, so everything's perspective, and even with the information we get, we can only see it through our perspective. And I guess that's what discernment is building up this perspective, so that when we get information, and it comes back to having as many points of view as you can. So if you've got no points of view and one piece of information, that tends to be, it tends to sort of turn into the truth for you as a belief, because you've got no other reference point. You've got nothing else. Once you get two, then you can go, oh, is it this or is it this? Get more and more. And the more you have, but then when you come across information, you're not going to believe it, because you're going to have all this other information that says, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? How does this work? And that's what it comes down to. It really does. It's so much of this is about informing yourself and getting points of view and working out what is your point of view? What's your perspective? And I don't want to use the word belief, but what is it that you believe you are? What are your ethics? Work that out. Because if you're not coming from a place that's you, if you're not making those decisions from a place that's you, then who's making them? All right, that's a good question to ask yourself. If you're slipping into decisions without really making them, well, guess what? You're not making them. Someone else is. So that's another big question, is why? Why would they want to do that? And extrapolate out on that, and then you'll get back to the point of, because a lot of people don't think that it's important. They really don't. They're like, and I hear it all the time. Oh, what mattered? What does it matter what happened in history? How's it going to affect me now? How's it going to change my life? Well, sit down. Have you got 10 hours? I will explain it all to you. And this is the thing, is if it doesn't matter to you, again, you've got no discernment. So really, if you're not going to make a proper decision based on your ethics and information you've got, you're giving someone permission to lead your life. You really are. You're saying, oh, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to think. Just make my decisions for me, please. Now, that's fine. You can do that. My only piece of advice is, if you do that, do not complain about the outcomes, because that's your decision. Okay. Do not then start complaining. Do the work, make a good decision to start with. Don't be a victim, because doing that is becoming a victim. It's like, poor little me. I don't have the power to, read a book or a newspaper and get a different perspective or talk to someone. So I'm just going to be led down the path and cry about it. And that's where we've been for the last 100 years, guys. And it's no longer that time. We've got to wake up. This is now about the future, about our children, about, the future of this earth. It's much bigger suddenly. And we've got to wake up and make decisions that are good. And clearly look around. If you think that the people in power are making good decisions, why do we have war, poverty, death, disease, blah, 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 blah? It's time to wake up.
And to find out their background, where they came from, how they got there. A simple example, if you want to look at discernment, is, I used to like eating lots of treats or cupcakes or donuts or whatever, all these crazy things. And then, I just started reading the ingredient list. Simple as that. And then studying the ingredients one day. Right? And so that when my brain or my feelings tell me, oh, you want to eat that sugar-filled cupcake, and I go, oh, it's got, polysorbate 80, and it's got, whipped margarine, and it's not really what it appears to be, right? Or it's got MSG in it, which even the sweets in Japan have MSG in it, which is, I find, the strangest thing. But now that I've been able to, I look at like bread and they got MSG because I've learned the symbols and things like that now that I've been living here, and it's like you're going, motherfucker, so yeah, and I would like to, I used to like going out to eat and izakayas and things like that. I remember once I was walking through Kyoto, the side streets, was around 5 o'clock, just before all of the, the cafes or izakayas open here. And then I saw in the front of one of them, like one of those 25-kilo bags of MSG. Just sitting out front like a bag of flour or something. And I looked at that and I went, or I'll see canola oil, which I've heard is like motor oil. You should never put that shit in your body, right? And you'll see the cans of canola oil, out front, which they call golden oil in Japan because it sounds great. And, and then, so that's how as a small example, grow my discernment for eating. It's like, do I want to eat that? Yes. Should I be putting MSG in my body? No. Right. So I've discerned in that situation, and it's just done. Right. It's finished. And it's not so much, do I want to or don't, or should I or shouldn't I? It's more like you get some information, you look at it, and it's kind of over. It's like I'd say with the vaccines,
Exactly.
Fuck those vaccines. People say I should or I shouldn't. I go, you look in the ingredients, see what's there. I mean, I don't see, like I honestly think people have gotten stupid over the years by eating bad food, maybe by not eating healthy, by being irradiated and 5G'd and schooled and all this thing. Because if you look at the ingredients and something you're going to put in your body, your discernment should tell you what you would put in, irregardless of what's, some fat guy in a white suit tells you, or a white jacket.
And then that's such a good analogy is, most people, they have one point of view, sugar yummy, and that's it, sugar yummy, but then if you read and you're like, oh, sugar yummy, but full of plastic, may be really bad for me, kill me, give me diseases and problems in the future. Now you got only 2 points of view, but you're probably not going to eat that sugar because you've got enough information to understand it's really bad for you. And that's what one little piece of information can do. It can completely change your life. And we look around, most people are just walking around like this, not thinking at all of what they're shoving in. And so it's all information and perspective. And like you said, where do these people come from? Where does their money come from? Why are certain people picked and elevated to these positions and have all this money and privilege and, office and that sort of thrown upon them, while other people who we know are good people, ethical people, work their whole lives and can't get anywhere? Why is this? Why does the rotten fruit always seem to be at the top of the pile? These are questions we've got to ask. And I think a lot of this has got to do with ego, right? People don't want to admit that they've been fooled. People want to be smart. People want to think, oh, come on, I didn't get fooled. I'm not that silly. I know what's going on. I get it. And that's really hard to let go of. But I mean, it's much more powerful to go, well, look, yeah, I used to believe that, but now I know the truth. Because the truth is powerful. And if you don't have it, if you're listening to them, it's not the truth. It's not the truth, because the reason it's not the truth is you can't make a decision from that. If you're on this path of everyone's dying and there's a magical mystery bug and rah, so don't wear this or do this. If you see, if you have a question, you don't know how to go forward because that's not your information, if you know what I mean. It's not your decision. Someone said, put the mask on. And you're like, right, okay, now what happens if I need to do this? And you don't know, I better go to the TV. What happens if I need a sip of water? Oh, I'm allowed to pull it down. Okay, well, that's good. Okay. And this is the thing. It's just complete, here's your script. Go along. And people don't realize it. They think they're doing the good thing. They think that they're helping other people. They think, and this is the other thing, it's like, if you don't comply, then you're out there trying to kill people and do the wrong thing. And of course, people want to be good. But this is all manipulation, guys. Again, go back and look at who's making these rules. What are they doing? Okay, now look at America. All these governors, don't go to restaurants, don't travel, social distance, wear a thing on your face. How many of these people have been caught on holidays, in pubs, in restaurants, without their covering, doing exactly what they're telling the population not to do.
Dozens of them already.
This is it. So they don't even believe it, guys. But so what do you? I mean, this is the thing with information. You'll see they're laughing at you. They really are. And if you want to talk about this ego thing and being right and wrong, do you want to be laughed at, or do you want to get some information and go, oh, hang on, these people are the jokers, and we need to get rid of them. This has to reverse, because this is where we are, guys. You need to let go of your ego and see the real world. Open your eyes and see who's pulling the strings, and then make a real decision. Do you want them to make the decisions for your life, for your future, and control your future? Because that's what they're doing right now. So we get to let them continue that, or we get to say, well, look, this is crap. There's no substance to this. I can see who these people are, where they came from. I can see what their agenda is. I can see who they worship. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm not interested. I'm going to go build a new world, rather than, what's the word? Rather than, making this world that we've got more physical and more material. Let's go build something else. Let's go manifest something better.
The way it has to be. And it is hard work. That's part of discernment, ready to do the hard work. There's a new fellow, the Truth Warrior, is going to be joining us on our new Now Agora. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later. He's in Canada. And when the craziness happened, he said, I'm not leaving my kids into the schools with this craziness and social distancing and scaring them. I'm going to homeschool them, right? He has 2 young girls, and, you'll be able to hear his story. I'll leave a link for that below as well. And he said, of course it's hard. And of course, it's hard for my wife. And of course it's hard for me. And of course it was hard for the girls and lots of extra work. But what the fuck are you going to do? Are you a baby? So being alive is hard. It's like too many people going, oh, it's so hard. I have to do this. It's so hard. I have to make my own choices. It's so hard. I have to decide for myself what to eat and where to go and what to think, right? And how to be. And, there is no way around that. If you do, part of discernment is literally what it means is to discern, to figure out, to see for yourself, to maybe you have to build some curiosity if you haven't had it before. Definitely you have to admit that you're wrong. I personally think the biggest joke that these idiots that have played on people is telling them they're at the top of the food chain, that the humans are the smartest on the planet, and you got to think, you're telling them they're smartest. I don't see any other species masking their babies. I don't see any other species insisting their children put poison in their bodies. I don't see any other species locking their kids. Like every other species teaches their children how to survive, how to be healthy, how to look after themselves, how to be free for the most part. Maybe a pet is different, but that's a pet. But anything wild, you watch them. They teach their children how to be alive, happy, healthy, and free, and they pass real good skills along to them for discernment. Right? And then the humans, I had to see for myself. I was an idiot, and I was a moron, and I was a fool, and I was taught to be, thinking I was so great and all these other things, the top of the top of the top of the heap, before I realized, you can be at the top of the heap by realizing you've been at the bottom for so long, and you need to do what's in your soul and what's in your heart and what's in your feeling to get to where maybe you've always thought you would like to be, but haven't been yet, and to see why.
It's almost arrogance, isn't it? They sort of teach us to be arrogant a bit, like, oh, you are the smartest, you're better than every other creature. And of course, now people think that, oh, okay, so I'm better, so I can go hunting and kill animals, and I can do this stuff, and I can, but without any consequence, right? This is what people want. They want to walk around and be the king, and it's my world, I'll do whatever I want, but they don't want consequence. Nah, that stuff comes back, and they're suddenly like, oh, hang on, poor little me. So not that I probably want to quote cartoon, but what's his name? Stan Lee created Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. And that's it, guys. And this is it. Like I said before, you can choose to sit in the corner, suck your thumb, pretend none of this exists, to be a baby, and that's fine. But the decision you're making is someone else controls your life. That's it. That's your decision. So don't complain about it if that's your decision. The other option is to wake up and to understand that The reason they want to control you is because you are the power. Why would they care? Are they trying to control mice? Are they trying to control dingoes or fish? No, they're trying to control your mind. Why is that? Because in your mind is the power. Okay, so they're trying to manipulate you. So if you really want to be powerful, take that power back. Don't give it to them. As long as they're making the decisions for you, they've got your power. If you're happy with that, then that's your decision. But if you really want to be smart and powerful, understand what's going on. Step out of the box.
I highly suggest study creativity, study art, study dance, study historical shamans, if you like, study alternative ways of life, study what other societies have done and other tribes and how they've seen things. And even just for, if you want to say, for entertaining purposes, see how other people have done what they've done and how they've raised children and what's going on, and watch other animals. And take up an artistic hobby, whether it's music or art or dancing or writing. I mean, who cares if you're good or not? It has nothing to do with any of that. I think it's opening up the right brain side of you, which has been dulled. And perhaps then, part of the discernment was you'll open up new ways to perceive what's possible, new ways to see options you never thought were there, new ways to be alive, for being abundant or free or happy or healthy, or where you can live. Perhaps, as we touched base on a little bit, we're just making two societies here, right? If you don't want to change anybody, I think it's become more obvious now. The governments are corrupt. It's so obvious, right? They're going down a place where they're not looking after you. It's so obvious. If you want to go follow them, you'll end up being corrupt and dead and dirty as well, right? Like blaming the politicians and following them is stupid, in my opinion, right? You can't blame them and still follow them and be surprised that you end up in a shitty place when you're following a shithead.
Exactly.
Or a narcissist or a psychopath. If you follow those people for any reason and say, I have no choice, you shouldn't be surprised when you end up, in that same camp, even believing it's the only path or the easy path or the comfortable path. Forget about it, and go the other way. There's just too much at stake right now, too much potential. Look back a couple hundred years. There was no Canada, there was no Australia, supposedly, there was no USA. Like, all these countries are so malleable and so temporary and so impermanent. Even the religions come and go, families come and go, your life comes and it goes. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to be, if you're happy with where you are, I'll leave it at, that in this, tangent, that's great. But if you're not, maybe that's part of the discernment, is to ask why you're not happy, how you would like to make yourself happy, and not waiting for someone else saying, well, it's their fault I'm not happy, and if only they change, I'll be happy. And that's your first mistake, in my opinion. It's like, how am I not happy, and how can I change my life so that it's better for me and the people around me? Maybe not enough people look at it that way. I know I haven't. I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have to, if other people have to change for you to be happy, that's a pretty big job. You got to go out there and change 8 billion people. Good luck. This, and the other thing is it's like you touched on this reality, reality, right? What we think is real. This is a sliver of time. And to put it truthfully, where we're living now, the last couple of 100 years, is probably the most different than the rest of history that we've ever lived. This is not normal. This is the anomaly where we are now. If you look into history, in that it seems like a fairly, stable, sort of moving forward, good kind of civilization when you look into it, not the history we're given in the books, but real history. But now we don't have that. All we've had, in recent history is war and famine and disease and, all this stuff, everything that's bad. But we don't find that in the past. So this is not real. Everyone thinks this is the be all and end all. This is reality. This is life. It's not. This is a show. This is a facade that that's been given to you, been given to all of us, that we believe. And it comes along with, well, we're the epitome. Oh, we're so evolved. Oh, we're this, we're that, we're technologically advanced. Well, we're not. You know, everyone runs around and says, oh, we've got so much technology. Okay, go make a phone. No one can. So everyone thinks, I'm so smart on technological. I'm part of this massive society, but they can't do anything but say, oh, where's the phone? Give me the phone. How do I work this? But they think that because they can hold a phone, that makes them smart and they're part of this big thing. You're being conned. You're being conned. That phone actually makes you more stupid. It takes away from you. It stops you thinking. Okay. Do you want to, you know, let's erase all the maps from your mind. You know, people used to walk out and they'd know exactly where they were, all the landmarks. Now they look at their silly phone and, oh, I don't need to remember that because Google will take me there. You know, they're making us stupid by replacing our minds with their technology. And remember, everything is a screen that we look at, right? That's what they give us, screens, black screens, black scryer screens. This all goes back to, you know, black magic, if you want to look into it again. And this is the thing again, look at where all this stuff comes from. You know, how did they get these ideas? What's the purpose behind them is really the main thing. And of course, there's a purpose behind this whole facade of society, making us believe that we're someone, sometime, something. Because even, you know, even you think that you're living in a certain year. I'm going to tell you right now that you're wrong. You're not living in that year. They've changed that as well. They've changed everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So take the higher road, guys. You know, understand you're the power. Get the information, and you're powerful. Let someone lead you, and you're not. And that's it. What do we want to teach our kids? How do we want to be remembered?
You know, it's not normal to have having been lived in 200 years of trauma. So if you study the history from 1812 to now, basically 200 years, it's been 200 years of trauma and war and lies and fighting. And you know, that's all TV's done with the news and all this is put fear inside you. So, you know, again, as Cambell said, you know, why do you think they're doing so much? There's such a huge effort to make sure you're afraid all the time. You know, to pass nothing but garbage along. You know, nobody wakes up and goes, hey, this is a nice day. Did you love your kids? Did you hug your kids? Did you make sure they got some sunshine and some good food today? Did you teach them that they can grow up to be anything they want to grow up to be? Did you remember that they should do some art and to be creative and to see what their dreams are telling them and to go out and make a better, more beautiful world? No, you never hear that. You know, I mean, maybe now a little bit if you look, but you know, mainstream garbage, you never hear that. All you hear is you know, duplicitous garbage. And I would think from the TV, from media and all of that, it's such a small percentage of people that are passing this information along.
It is. I mean, we don't really know because, you know, obviously everything's being so, you know, censorshiped. That, yeah, we don't really know what the numbers are. They're obviously telling us that numbers are different because this is again how they get us. It's like, be part of the club, be part of us. You know, everyone's going and doing it. Everyone loves Bill's prick. But then when you look out, it's not really what's going on. Again, it's just a story. It's a facade to get us to go along with their agenda. And this is really what it comes down to. Everything that's done is to make us comply and go along with what they want. And it's got to come back to this point of why. Why do they want to control you? Do you want to control anyone else? Have you ever had the compulsion to go next door and lecture your neighbors and tell them they have to live like this, or you'll be back and you'll put handcuffs on them and you'll drag them to a cage if they don't do what you're told? No, humans don't have that. Okay, so that's a very big point, that they are not us. We don't have this compulsion to go and rule people and try and make them and force them live lives, you know, the way that we see it. We don't have that. So they're clearly not us. So that's another thing to think about, guys. What is this? You know, what are we up against? You know, are they even us? And this means, I mean, it can mean a lot of things, but it can be as simple as, yeah, they just have different beliefs, and because of that, they will do much different things than the normal person. That could be the difference. It could be a lot more, but it could just be that, and that's pretty scary because those people start wars, start famine. You know, they do all this stuff. That they control the finances, the food, the water, and like Lorenzo said, they put us through hundreds of years of misery because of this. They clearly don't like us. So why would you comply?
Maybe 10 points of discernment. Let's see if we can come up with 10 points.
10 points of discernment, all righty.
Admit you're wrong. That's a good one. You admit you're wrong.
Admit you're wrong. It's all mistakes. Yeah. So learn.
Study your history. We're on Auto Didactic, his channel, right? Once again, I say it every time, but part of this path I was on was, several years ago, or whenever Cambell first started, I started watching, and it helped me quite a bit, right? So study your history. I would think study, go far as back as you want, study.
Know who you are and where you came from.
Yep.
Understand that. Well, ask the question, why are people trying to manipulate you? Where does that come from? Who are these people and where do they come from? What are your beliefs and ethics and what are their beliefs and ethics, and do they gel?
See who you are, see who you want to be, see how you can, again, if you're lonely, a lot of people call me, or you need new friends. I have to say, every week I'm talking to new intelligent people. Every week I'm connecting, again, we're going to launch our new Now Agora very soon. Cambell's going to be there. The Truth Warrior, David Whitehead, is going to be there. He's new since I talked with Cambell last. Amanda Waller, amazing naturopath doctor out of Ontario, who knows what's going on with the vaccines and doctors and real stuff with the dentist and your teeth and all that.
Amanda, has she got an H in her name?
Yeah, I think so.
Is she got curly dark hair?
Yes.
Oh, she's awesome. I love her.
Yeah, and
I saw her live stream the other day, and it was just wow.
So I wrote her. I wrote her yesterday, and I said, "Look, we've got this system. We've got all these people coming. We want your information. You're amazing." She locked her clinic, told nobody with masks, nobody with vaccines coming to my clinic. Fuck them. Yep. I only want to deal with real people. I'm tired of the bad energy coming from some of these, monsters that have nothing to do but want to come in and waste my time and make me feel bad. And so she's going to join us right away. She got back to me 30 seconds later and said, "How can I help? I want to be in."
Yep.
Right. And
she's great.
There's a psychedelic artist on the Sunshine Coast in Canada, Simon Hajduk. He's decided he's going to teach art through freedom. He's an artist. He's been on a lot of our covers when we were printing. And these are 3 people that have come in the last week, as I started building the system. Right. And so they're
build it and they will come.
Yeah. And Unslaved, Michael Dessarion, we're going to do some writing from him. He's another alternative historian.
Have you got Michael as well?
Well, David Whitehead works with Michael on Unslaved, right? And I've met David a few times.
Okay.
Yeah. So they do the Unslaved and some of the podcasts they've done of just there's a recent one on Blackest of Magic. I highly recommend it. It just came out a couple of days ago. Amazing stuff on words and etymology and where we come from and why things are the way they are and even the language. I mean, study your language. That's another
language.
Study your language. You know what you're saying, even what you're thinking and why you're thinking it.
Guess what? The first thing we get taught at school is how to spell.
Yeah.
And it's a spell. Don't just go, it's just spelling it. It's really. We have this saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's not true. No, words are spells. If you think words don't hurt people, you go up to someone and you try and hurt them with words, and I guarantee you can do it. Words are spells, guys.
Spells.
What's the meaning behind them? What are we actually casting?
Study yourself. We're more powerful and at the same time more stupid than we can imagine. But I think the balance in the universe, if you've been really, really stupid and you admit it, right away you'll open up the opposite space to be really, really smart. So many times I've had a problem in life and I haven't had the solution. I've got to see, everything I'm looking at, these 4 points, they're all wrong. I don't know the answer. It's okay to not know. I don't know right now. I'll just take a moment and see what happens. Every time, and I mean every single time, the world will give me a solution I literally couldn't think of. Something will just go, how about this? The world loves you. Well, think about it. If you believe in God, you believe in religion, you believe in a higher power, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you weren't put here to be a stressed out slave for 70 years and then die with weird diseases. I don't think that's what the purpose of this life was, right? I mean, you can be that stupid, but probably, if you have loving parents, and everyone who's ever had children probably would say they would like the best for their children. So think about what gave you life, this beautiful gift of being alive. Consider it for a moment. people don't consider like this beautiful gift of the fact that you're even conscious and moving mic and you can do things. I mean, where did that come from? Why do you have that? Do you have that to eat hamburgers and become a fat, idiot sitting on a couch and watching sports? Is that why? I mean, I guess it could be.
But isn't that just it? How far have we fallen that's literally, a percent, like a majority percentage of people's lives.
A possibility.
Eating crap and sitting on a couch letting someone program them. And they think that's what life is. And it's all, oh, well, but, I have to relax because I've been at work for 40 hours all week, doing what I'm told as a slave. Well, that's also a decision, guys. Don't complain. Do something better. No one likes a complainer. You can complain as much as you want. No one will stop you, but no one will be around to listen because no one cares. Everyone's got their own life. Everyone's got their own issues. And if we, the statue's not finished when there's more to add. It's finished when there's no more to take away. So if we, look at life, from that, I kind of forgot where I was going, but from the perspective of, we have the answers. We do. If we focus too much on, oh, I got this wrong, or what about this? All we're doing is putting our mind in stress, and that stops it working. So instead, it's like you said, Lorenzo, if you've got a question and you can't quite get it, well, instead of going, oh, just go, let it go and go, the universe has got my back. It'll let me know. No doubt it'll be here tomorrow, and get on with your life. And I guarantee you that will pop into your head. But as soon as you sit there and stress out and put your focus on, it's not working, I'm not getting the answer, whatever we focus on grows. So if you're focusing on, I'm not getting what I want, the universe is, oh, what's the message? He's not getting what he wants. Oh, okay, send him more of that. That's what he wants. That's what the phone, So this is the other thing. What we get what we focus on. So, why are we so stupid and so smart? Because they have to make us stupid to control us. Because we are so smart, because we're the creators. They're not. They need to use our creative energy to create the world that they want. They can't do it. That's why we're in this situation. They are literally hijacking our power, our thought power, focusing on making it focus on what they want. And through that, we then create what they want for them.
And that's part of the discernment, to see how you're complicit in all of this. There are no victims. So see how you're participating in your own enslavement, or even a simpler way, perhaps see how you're participating in whatever it is you're not happy with in life. And I would find it's not good enough to say, well, the lesser of three evils or two evils, so I have to make a choice. Maybe choose none if all you have are bad answers in front of you. Say, I'm waiting for a good one. I'd rather do nothing. There's so many people say, I had no choice. I have to, there you go. Even your computer's agreeing with us. It's an important point. I think it's a very important point that too many times I've heard people say, well, what are you going to do? There's no other choice. These are the only two things I can do. If they're both bad, don't choose either.
Because not making a choice is actually making a choice.
Exactly. So make the choice to wait for a better choice, maybe.
And it's like this whole thing, choosing the lesser of two evils. Guess what? It's still choosing evil.
Yeah, it's still, it's an old saying someone told me, and I said it to someone who called me today. Politics is like arguing over which side of a piece of shit to pick up and not get dirty. It's
you pick it up, but I don't want to touch it. You pick it up, I don't want to touch it.
The answer is basically, I guess we've been on for almost an hour, but I want to share a beautiful little story about getting away from things, which one of our other participators, Julian Rose, shared with me. He's an older man right now. He's in.
I think I saw that. An Aussie guy.
Yeah. No. He's British actually.
Oh.
Okay. You did comment on it. I saw that one. And when he was younger, he was working on. He mentioned the story. He was working on a big ranch in Australia. Actually, it's a huge. Right? And he said he was working on it, and 14 or 15 Aborigines were working there as well. And there was a real asshole of a boss, a real old style Australian, I'm better than everyone else kind of asshole. And he told all the Aborigines, to show up at 7 a.m. for work, show up at 7 a.m., right? And they would show up at 7 a.m. and he wouldn't get there till 8, right? So they'd just wait around in the heat and the flies and all the stuff. And they would go, boss, why are you telling us to come at 7 and you're not coming till 8? He goes, it's just ridiculous. You go, I'm the boss and you fuck you and you got to listen to what I say. And they said, one more time, you tell us to show up and you're not there, we're out of here. So the next day, of course, they're there at 7. He doesn't come. He comes to work. and they're gone. He said they all went back into the bush to live their lives, and they disappeared from this job forever. And what happened to the boss? He didn't know what the fuck to do, because he can't run the ranch by himself. Goes back to what Cambell said. Why do they push us? Why do they insist? Why do they move us? They can't run this nonsense. They can't run this cage by themselves. If everyone just said, I have a better idea, I'm going this way.
Back to the bush.
Let's
go look after ourselves.
Not to be afraid of death. I mean, that's another part maybe of discernment. What do you think?
Yeah, we've just been so cut from our roots, haven't we? And made to believe that we can't even survive. And to the point of it's almost like you're a weirdo if you think you can live in nature. What do you mean? What? Build your own house? Get your own food? You weirdo. That's what we are, people. That's our power. Look at the food they give us. So yeah, my advice would be a weirdo. Be a weirdo. Who do you want to be with? Who do you want to tell your grandchildren that you were with? What side of history do you want to be on? Oh yeah, well, we just watched TV and we did what we were told, and here we are. You can thank me that you now have to work 20 hours a day, son. Yep. What do you want to be? No, we told them all to get stuff. No one tells me what to do. We stood together and we crushed them, and because of that, you have this amazing world to live in. You can do whatever you want. What story do you want to tell?
And there are people doing that, I have to say. I've met a dozen of them now. We're getting together. More seem to be coming all the time. Too much is at stake to not be your own, to not be in your own power, I guess, to not discern and to make your own choices, to not be in control of your own destiny, be in control of your own power.
Yeah. And if you're still trying to sort of beat that dead horse and you think that everything will return to normal, it won't ever. You're being scammed. Understand this is where we are. Everything's different. So we need to act differently, to make a different outcome.
Good. The old life was kind of shitty anyways. Everyone's honest.
I agree.
If everyone's honest, having a job till you're 65 and working in an office 40 hours a week, just so you can pay the rent and go on a vacation once a year and maybe pass some money along to ungrateful children. I don't care what anyone says. Doesn't sound like a good life to me, And so wanting to go back to that normal, it seems ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, you can, but I'm not interested. And there's a whole bunch of other people that aren't interested as well. And it was never normal anyways. Just what you got used to. So discernment.
That's right.
Look around. Find some answers. See what's going on. Study your history. No excuses. There's Cambell and dozens of others that have shared alternative historical perspectives on things. We might not even be the only human species on the planet from some of the ones I've seen over the last little while. There's so much interesting stuff going on out there. Like, wake up. Life's interesting. It's not stupid. It's not boring. It's not about a job. It's not about a fucking vaccine, that's for sure. Or a mask or getting an education, which is an indoctrination, as they say. There's no such thing as their education. And see, be who you've always wanted to be. See what happens. It's fun, I think.
Yep. Be brave. Take that step and see what happens. Step out in courage and trust yourself. You've got everything you need inside you right now. So act on it.
There you go. I think maybe we'll leave it at that. Cambell and I've been going, you've got everything you need inside yourself right now. Even if you don't know, it's there. It's a whole bunch of your insides that haven't been explored. Myself as well, consciousness, light, brain power, whatever. You can do it because no one else can for you.
Exactly. Power's in you.
All right, Cambell, thank you so much. This has been great. It's a lot more fun than I can imagine when we get together and do these things.
Yes, it's been a couple of weeks, but finally got back there.
In a few weeks, I'm hoping we'll do it again regularly. Cambell will.
Yeah. So I'm happy. Yeah, if you want, just every week's fine. I just.
Okay.
The world. Sort of. I don't know how I didn't. Took me away for a few weeks, but yeah.
Anybody has any topics they want us to tackle? Let us know. Cambell will be with us live in our New Now Agora as we get that rolling as well. I'll let you know and keep everyone posted about that. I'm going to make a video for Cambell, his channel at some point. As soon as I get more specifics all done, you can come see on the New Now Agora what Cambell shared with us about what he's done, which is very interesting. And, join us, participate, be there. You're not alone. There's a lot of people there. Yep. Soon you'll be able to ask questions and answers of some of the people that I've mentioned in this talk. And I'm sure Cambell's going to bring other people to the table as well. He's mentioned a few as well. And, together we can always have that fun life we never knew was possible, but we always wanted to live in anyways.
Exactly. And together we can all be the change we so want to see.
Bingo. Thank you all so much. I love you all. I enjoyed this talk very much. Cambell, very sweet of you to join us again. This has been great. More here very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Lorenzo. Ciao, guys.
Here's everyone.
Can't make me lie to my heart. No one tells me where I should start. Freedom.